Hey everybody, Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country right here on Fish Creek Radio. At 13 years old, our guest tonight burst onto the scene with Delta Dawn, which was an instant hit and remains a classic to this day. Since then, she's been a force to be reckoned with in the country music industry with numerous ACM and CMA awards, number one songs and albums, and she is listed as one of CMT's greatest women of country music. I'm deeply honored to welcome Tanya Tucker to My Kind of Country. Tanya, how are you today?
Hey, doing really good. Thank you.
All right, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you. You have won the Cliffy Stone Pioneer Award with the ACMs for this year. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's very nice. I thought that was very nice. And I'm very flattered.
When you started out, did you ever think you would become a pioneer in country music?
No, I didn't. It just wasn't on my thought process.
Well,
but we all live and get older, and no one gets out of doing that. So,
well,
and I just got a lot of fans that get older with me.
It's certainly well deserved. There's no doubt about that. I want to go back and talk about your early career just for a minute. Do you remember what your debut performance was?
Debut performance. No, I don't. Actually, they all seem to run together now. I remember the first time I was on the Grand Ole Opry and all that. But to me, I've always been performing, so it never was a debut. The first time I think my debut was at 8 years old on stage with Mel Tillis.
Oh wow!
In Douglas, Arizona. So.
Wow.
That was more what I recall, than after that fact, but after the record came out. But, we're debuting everywhere. Still debuting.
You're still debuting, that's right. Well, I know you're, and I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. I was close to my dad, too, and I know he was just a major force in your career. And were your folks real supportive of your music career and getting into the show business?
Oh, absolutely. My dad was everything. He was, I wouldn't be anywhere without him. So he was the nucleus of it all,
Yeah.
And helped me out extremely, and I have a hard time sometimes doing it without him.
I hear you there. I lost my dad about 16 years ago, and it's still every day you think about it,
Yeah. Oh, every day, and a lot of nights.
Well, there's a wonderful display in the Country Music Hall of Fame, and I'd like you to give me your thoughts about that. I assume you've had a chance to go see it.
Yeah, I didn't get a long chance, but I got a small chance, and went in and looked at it, and had to do it in a kind of a hurried fashion. But I was very flattered, and I thought that was very, very nice of them to think of me, and it was a nice thing. And I guess ever since I come back for that deal, I haven't stopped. So,
boy, I
hadn't been on the road for several years, and kind of spending time with my kids and my horses and my dogs and my friends and when I got back to Nashville for that, it seemed like I went from 0 to 200 miles an hour within a few days, just coming back for that exhibit. So back into Nashville, and now I just haven't stopped since we started back about over a year ago.
Well,
I guess almost a year ago.
That's kind of been that way your whole career, I think, right?
Yeah.
Non-stop.
Yeah, it's been that way my whole career. For sure.
Well,
keep coming back.
do you still enjoy getting out and touring? And what's different about your show now as opposed to say 10 years ago?
Gosh, I don't even have I can't even remember 10 years ago. I don't know. We're doing like some unplugged shows, kind of acoustic shows that I'm going on this next couple of days. And we've done a few last month, I guess, and they were really successful. And so everybody seemed to really like the personal, unplugged, kind of raw, without any fluff kind of performances, and I enjoy that. But I also enjoy full band and doing the show too.
Sure.
So we head out to Houston and then to Fort Worth next week, and we'll be full band and full show. So
that's great.
It's kind of neat doing it differently sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And we're always continually working on it. It's something that's always a work in progress.
Absolutely. Well, and it makes it fun for you and the band when you're doing some different stuff. And I talked to Merle Haggard one time. He said he never uses a set list because you got to keep it fresh and have it make, if it's not fun for you, it's not going to be fun for the audience.
Yeah, well, that's what's cool about mentioning Merle Haggard, is I really enjoy doing some other people's songs, some other songs that were, very, very close to my heart, and that really inspired me, or I really like to sing. I really like to sink my teeth into a great Merle Haggard song, but it's also kind of a little intimidating at the same time. But it gives me an opportunity to stretch out and do some other songs besides my own. I enjoy that.
You did a fantastic job on Ramblin' Fever on your last album, My Turn. I loved your version of that.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't so happy about that, but that whole album kind of was a thorn in my side. But it was a great thought. I'd like to redo it again and do it the way I want to do it. But just being able to pay homage to some of the greats in country music was, kind of a nice opportunity for me.
Well, I got to ask you. You said it was a thorn in your side. Why is that?
Well, I just didn't like the production, and I felt like it was just a little. It wasn't as much of me and the way I would do it, as opposed to just the producer and the way he wanted to do it. And we did it a weird way because he did the tracks in California and I did the vocals in Nashville, so it was sort of disconnected for me. Yeah. I don't like doing music like that. I like doing it all together. Everybody in a room, coming up with great licks, and me coming up with something that sort of speaks from my heart.
Yeah.
And I thought it could have been a lot better record. I was just in the BVI's last week with some friends on a catamaran, and they put that album on, and there's just some songs I can't even stand to listen to, but I just really had a disconnection with that whole process, and I just don't want to choose to do a record like that, and that using that kind of process anymore.
Yeah.
I really think that's what it's all about, and my life has been able to make music off the top of my head with some great musicians, and that's the way I've always made it. When I went to L.A. the first time, my first record was with Snuff Garrett on MCA Records, and I was 16, and I had 2 #1 records. I had San Antonio Stroll and Lizzie and the Rain Man off that album, but I did not like the way we worked, and all the musicians read they were reading the music. It just didn't sit well with me. So I told my dad I wanted to go back to Nashville and make records like I'm used to making them. So that's what we did. And then when I went back to Nashville, I was very lucky and grateful to have gotten a guy like Jerry Crutchfield, who I had a tremendous amount of success with for 13 or 14 albums.
You certainly did.
And I think we had the longest run together of anybody that's worked with me.
Yeah.
And I just love the records he made, and I love how we made them, and I enjoyed it, and enjoyed working with different musicians and collaborating, that felt honest to me. And the record with time life just didn't feel honest to me.
Yeah.
So I like honest music and making it the most honest way.
Amen
Real,
to
just real.
that. Amen to that.
That was what I was used to. I'm not saying it would be what anybody else might be used to, but
Yeah.
for me, it's that's the way it is. I guess I get it from Billy Sherrill days, back when I first started. We'd go in a room and within 4 hours of the session, come up with something that was, going to last forever, in the hearts and minds of people everywhere. So to me, honesty is really important. From the time you go in the studio to you go on the road and make and reproduce those songs on stage, and all that's important to me.
You bet. Well, that's something that's missing from a lot of the music today, so I'm real glad to hear you say that.
Yeah. It's like it's all so false and so structured and so detailed and of course there's all the money. The money is this for that and that's for that, and it didn't used to be that way. And then record labels didn't get involved in what the artist was doing, and you could just do a record and turn it into the record label, and the radio stations would love it and play it, and because record labels really never have done much for me. It's been the fans, it's been radio, the guys at radio, and that's been what's made my success right there.
Absolutely.
So I don't want anybody in the record label, most of them don't even know what they're doing, to tell me what kind of music I need to be singing or what kind of song I need to be singing. And I'm a renegade when it comes to that.
Yes,
and I proved that with the album. I was the first artist on Arista, actually, with Clive Davis.
Oh, were you?
And but he was too involved in wanting to pick my music, and that I was going to record, and he didn't know anything about me, so it was like someone from New York, and he knew a lot about other artists. He had great success with Whitney Houston. He did some great things with some great artists, but it wasn't the way I like to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't work out.
Well, with all that in mind, I understand you've been working on a new album. Tell me a little bit about the approach to this and maybe some of the songs on it.
Well, I've been working on it for about 10 years, and it's just been a process. And I think it's the best record I've cut. But I don't want to let it go like I let the last one go, the Tanya album, which was I guess 2002, was it? And Capitol Records was supposed to distribute it, but they did not, and didn't do their pull up there into the deal. So the record really never got heard. I managed to make a number 11 record. It didn't go top 10, but it went to number 11. Memory Like I'm Gonna Be. But that was because I went to about 50 radio stations and did my part. I more than did my part, but they didn't do anything. So the record didn't get the attention that it needed and deserved in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I got real frustrated with that, and was wasn't on the record label for many years, simply because of that. But these are some of the greatest songs, and I really don't know right now who to hand it to, because I don't want to repeat this kind of scenario again.
Right.
I really want to give it to someone who believes in it and is going to do what they say. My dad told me, if you got it in blood from Capitol Records, they ain't never going to do nothing for you because they don't like you.
Mm.
And I said, well, surely that can't be the case. But it was, and it was definitely the case. So I don't want to go through that again. So I'm not going to let it go. It may never come out, If I don't find the right person, the right labels to bring it out, I'm not going to. It'd just be another piece of great music never got a shot.
Well, I've noticed in talking to a lot of artists on the show, with the whole shift, and there's kind of a separation between what they call country music now and the traditional country and the older artists, and a lot of them are putting their music out on their own labels, on their own websites, and with the internet and stations like what I'm doing with internet radio and things like that, they're going to these stations because they know their music's going to get played and it's going to get heard. So is that something
Right.
you would consider?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm willing to consider anything. But meanwhile, I'm back on the road trying to, do my shows and keep hopeful about this business and kind of where it's at right now. And it changed so drastically that it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on, and you really need a good support team. I got a new manager, and I never had a manager since my dad passed, and so this is the first time. And he, has worked with Dolly Parton for the last 10 years, so did great things for Dolly, and Dolly's no spring chicken either. So, in fact, she's a bit older than I am, but she's making a lot of money, and she's touring, and I figured maybe this guy could do what he did with Dolly with me. So we'll see. Jury's not in yet, but we'll see what happens. It could go either way.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that it goes the best way possible.
Well, from what I've seen, country music fans are the most loyal that you can ever have, and you touched on that earlier
Oh,
too.
absolutely, absolutely. If I've been in rock and roll, it's been all over. So I am. You stick to the ones that brought you to the dance.
That's right.
That's
right.
I love doing all kinds of music, and I've been very, very, put in a box, and I like, when I was 18 or when I came out with TNT, it was like I didn't really have the right people. That they talked big game, but they really didn't know what they were doing, and they had no idea. And so my career suffered for that. But then we had my first, gold or platinum album, and because of all the hype, I think this thing is great music, great songs, great pickers, and go in the studio and do it. And that's all we need. And then somebody, when we get done with the record, somebody to hand it to that's going to put their heart and soul in it and promote it. Because if people don't know about it, they can't go buy it. And it damn sure can't buy it if it ain't on the shelves.
Yep, that's right.
Which, a lot of record labels do. I've had it done to me so many times.
Yeah.
They'll make a record and and then you can't find it anywhere.
Yep.
So,
well,
there's a lot of stuff that goes into making a success product.
Absolutely.
Successful record, and then not only that, but you got to go back out and support it with your tour. And
well, it certainly looks like you're doing that.
Produce it.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. It's not for everybody.
Well,
that's for sure.
You've got the knowledge and you've got the experience with it, so I have no doubt that when it comes out, it's going to be the right thing for you. And, of course, you got all sorts of great tour dates coming up, folks. It's TanyaTucker.com. You can go check out the website and keep up with Tanya. Keep up if you can.
Well, that was a good feeling. I mean, to be gone for about 4 years off the road, and then when I get back to Nashville, all of a sudden I've got a manager and a agency, and they put out that I was working, so 40 dates came up like that, So that's a good feeling to know that people still want to see me.
Oh, absolutely. Are you seeing some younger people coming to shows as well?
Am I seeing
some younger people coming to your concerts as well?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Well, it's always been that way for me, though.
Yeah.
I've always had a really wide age range, 2 to 92, my theory. And that's what I like to see. I want grandkids, grandpas. I want kids. I want them all.
That's cool.
So,
You did.
we're very greedy when it comes to that.
Well, there's no reason not to be. That's great. I love some of the duets that you've done over the years, and one of my favorites is T. Graham Brown. I absolutely love him anyway. He's a great guy. He's been on my show
Oh, what
several
a singer,
times,
huh?
and you guys sing so well together.
What a great singer he is, and I was just talking to him the other day, and still one of my best friends. I love him to death.
Oh, me too. He's been on the show several times, and his gospel album is just fabulous that he has out, and good people.
Great singer. So is Delbert. I mean, there's some of those guys like that just work, constantly. But I like to hear them back on the radio. That's for sure.
Amen to that. Well, they're getting played on my station. I guarantee you that.
Well, good.
And so are you.
That's what we want. That's what we want. And I see someone over here hurrying me up, so I got a little doctor's appointment I got to get to.
All right.
But I'm so glad that I had the chance to talk to you.
I am too. Thank you for taking
it's sort
time.
of my little therapy. So I appreciate you being my sounding board.
Well, I know all my listeners are going to be
to
happy
hear what
too.
you think too. So
You betcha. Well, I know my listeners are going to be real happy to hear you, and I wish you the best, and I can't wait to hear more music from you, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing you out there on the road, and I wish you all the best.
well, thank you, and it's coming. It's coming. If I have to kick some ass, it's coming.
Well, you do that very well. All right, Tanya Tucker on My Kind of Country. We're going to play one of her greatest songs. I absolutely love this song, and I know probably it's the most requested song of yours, and it's Two Sparrows in a Hurricane.
All right.
We're going to play that as we continue.
Thank you.
My Kind of Country right here on Fish Creek Radio. Thank you, Tanya.
All right, darling. Thank you.